This is episode 209, and this is the Midlife Launch online radio podcast with your host, your coach, and your Sherpa, Kingsley Grant. You may say, if you don't remember what a Sherpa is just simply somebody who knows a little bit more than the other person they're trying to lead, trying to show them what steps to take to avoid the pitfalls and the landmines that will possibly cause great damage and injury and hurt and mistakes and all of those things. And so the Sherpa is that person who is just one step ahead of the other person they're trying to lead. That's who I see myself as. And you who have listened to this episode, this podcast for some time, you've heard me use that term over and over again. And I continue to use that term. Now, this is a different kind of episode, as you might imagine. You know how my show normally is upbeat and a number of things I would say at the beginning. But as I mentioned in the last episode, episode 208, if you have not listened to that, let me encourage you to go back, because I set the stage for this episode of what I want to share on this. And if you remembered, I talked about the fact of how it took me a long time, actually over almost 2 months, basically, to make a decision as to my next step with the Midlife Launch podcast. I shared how that over time and through coaching and my mastermind groups and my accountability partner, Bill Griggs, I finally came to a decision to continue this show, but only change the name and pivot. So last episode, I talked about the name that I have chosen, and that is Smooth Career Change. Smooth Career Change. And I explained more about why I chose the word smooth and the number of other possibilities I had. And I kind of walked through the process and just basically kind of brought you in the inside of where my mind was and how I thought through and came to that decision. I mentioned at the end of the episode that I chose the word career change over career transition because, and I hinted at search word, SEO, which is search engine optimization, meaning that how well will you be found through Google search? How well will someone find you by typing in certain keyword searches? And what I found was when I typed the word career change, it was in the multiple millions of searches that are done regularly. When I typed in the word career transition, it was basically several 100,000 searches that were done. And I realized that the word career change was being searched a lot more than the word career transition. And I ended up just adding the word smooth before that. And so the podcast will be named Smooth Career Change. It is something that is used, obviously, by many people who may search for stuff like, how do I change my career? Or I want to make a career change and I don't know where to start. Or what's the best career change direction or software or book might be out there. So obviously the word career change is being used on a regular basis. As a matter of fact, if I was to go ahead and do a quick example of what that means, if you hear the clicking, because I'm just going to Google right now, and I want to kind of just type in career change and see what comes up. So I typed that in, and it says 36 million results that were searched for. If I type in the word career transition, and this may be helpful for you if you are trying to find a way to choose words that are a bit helpful. And career transition had 14 million. So I'm sorry, I meant earlier I said hundreds of thousands. Well, it has 14 million searches, right? And I see career transition advice as searches related to career transition resume, career transitioning, career transitions, career transition coaching, career transition services, right? If I go back and type in the word career change and I do a search for that, as I mentioned before, 36 million searches. And if I look at what are some things that, and by the way, if I type in career change, I see in the Google first page, I am there at the bottom, but I'm on the first page anyway. And that's an article I post in October 17, 2013. Wow, I talked about, here are 6 reasons why men in midlife who are seeking to make a career change should consider becoming a midlifepreneur. Wow, that's 3 years ago, and it's still on the first page of Google. When you type in career change, you'll find that there. But anyway, I see where career change quiz, how to change careers at 30. I need a career change, but don't know what to do. Career change test, how to change careers at different ages, career change jobs, career change ideas. So basically, you could go back and forth between career change or career transition. The only fact that career change is used a lot more. Now, I just did that to show you, or just to mention to you, not show you, but mention to you why I ended up with career change, smooth career change, because that is a more powerful search term, and the chance is I can probably get more people to listen or to find the show based upon those terminologies. Anyway, I'm sorry if I took some time just to kind of explain that. Just wanted to give you an idea of how I came up to that. But here's what happened. I mentioned in the last episode about the framework, the word smooth, because what happened, I'm building out the word smooth as a framework for which to operate this whole podcast and coaching and possible courses that, not possibly, but courses that I will do in the near future. Now, I like to look at acronyms. I like to take words and find out, each letter, and find a way to use that as a mission or a framework. And here's what I came up with, the word smooth. So S is, what is your story? So I would be exploring stories, and I would call that storification, but what is your story? Because that's so important to know that you have the right story to guide you in your transition. Because if your story is not what it is or supposed to be, it's going to be an uphill struggle. You've got to get the right story. And so I help people find a way to restory their story so it works for them. The M and smooth is mission. So what's your mission? So what's your why? Why is it you want to do what it is you're thinking about right now? Why do you want to make a career change or a career transition? What is about that you want to do? And then the first O in smooth is options. What are your options? And I'll be talking more about that and fleshing that out more in a course, but also in interviews and well as my own teaching, because I have some very insightful ideas as how to make this work. And the other O is objections. So what are the objections? What are the things that are getting in the way of you from getting this done? So those are just the 4 words, and I have the T and the H already done, but I wanted to share with you the kind of framework where I'm going with this and why this is going to be a very helpful and valuable shift that I'm making, and how you will benefit a whole lot more from this. So what I want to do then is the next episode that's going to come out, episode 210, you will see me not say the midlife launch. You will more than likely hear me say, welcome to Smooth Career Change Podcast, or Smooth Career Change Online Radio Podcast. You'll hear something like that. When I do the show notes, instead of seeing TML as the midlife launch to the number afterwards, you'll see SCC. SCC, Smooth Career Change. That will be the abbreviation I'll use for the letters. Now, I have said all of this because I know this may sound like, this is not exciting and this is not sexy, but I think it's important for you to know what you do at times in business. It's not always the sexy stuff. This is part of business, pivoting, making changes, bringing different ideas, you've got to be able to always be in a stage of fluid movement. Because if you get stuck and remain in that fixed state, you really could get run over by those who are coming your way. So you've got to find a way not to change for change's sake, but to change when necessary and is important to your overall business ideas. So that's where I am in this stage. That's where I am going. That's where I want to take you. That's where I want your feedback. I want your help. And I want to also be available to coach with you. I mentioned in the last episode about building out my coaching practice. And really, I am focused on initially getting people into this 90 minutes of what I call powerful clarity and discovery session. No obligation. Where do you ever hear someone offering 90 minutes of a no obligation kind of coaching? Why do I do that? Because I want you to feel and experience and get value from that introductory coaching session. And if to see if we're a good fit, to see if we could work together over a period of time. But I want to make certain that I don't jump into a coaching relationship with someone who really is not a good fit, who is not making things happen. And that's the last thing I want to do, is drag people through this process. No. I want to coach people through the process. I want to coach high performers. I want to coach those who are aspiring leaders. I want to coach those who are in transition. So you're a career professional. You are the one I want to coach, because I wanted to help you get to where you want to go so you can leave an impact upon this world. Remember I said in last episode, I said this. I want to work with people. I am working with people who are career professionals or aspiring leaders, okay, who are in transition, who want to monetize their expertise and their experience while doing what they love, while making an impact in this world. And if that's you, then I want to work with you. So this is just an update, number 2, on where we are at and what's going to happen. And I wanted to let you know. And I hope this was kind of helpful. But I also want to say that I need to hear from you. What are you looking for? What are some topics you want to hear me talk about? What are some things that I can do? Interviews. What is your interest? What would interest you the most when it comes to career changes or a career transition? What would actually get you going? Okay, that's what I want to do. I want to help you with that. So here's how you can contact me. You can just send an email to podcast@themidlifelaunch.com, or you could tweet me at Kingsley Grant, KingsleyGrant. Okay, so at Kingsley Grant, you could just tweet me there, or you can email me. I mentioned earlier about the podcast at themidlifelaunch.com, or the show notes at themidlifelaunch.com/209. You'll be able to leave a comment there as well. Just to interact, just a feedback, let me know what's happening, because I want you to be involved in the process. I need you to be involved in the process. So I'm giving you this opportunity. Would you take me up on it? I know you will. So, my friend, I just wanted to update you. I hope this is enough. This is you got something from this, and you heard how I thought through the process and where I'm at and why, and I kind of showed you how I came up with some names, and just in case you are at some point looking to do something very similar. Well, my friend, with that said, let me just say thank you again for taking the time to listen to this episode of the Midlife Launch Online Radio Podcast. With that, I say, my friend, God bless, peace out, and I'll see you on the flip side. Yeah.